In this section of the training, you are going to learn more about the science of emotional intelligence and also about upgrading your operating system. Your operating system is your mindset, and it determines all the results that you get in each area of your life. And what we say is what has got you to where you are today, meaning your mindset, is not enough to get you to where you want to be tomorrow. So, we are where we're at because of who we are. And who we are is heavily based on our mindset. Now, for us to change that mindset, there's a series of actions that we need to take. You can follow along on page 3 of your training manual, and you can fill in the blanks as we go. Now, when we have a look at our operating system, we have to take in consideration our stimulus. We are impacted by external and internal stimuluses. An external stimulus could be an event. An internal stimulus could be triggered by a certain thought. So there's always a stimulus. There's always a trigger. Once we have the stimulus, then we will then have a response. However, what happens between the time of the stimulus and the response is it's impacted by, firstly, our personality traits. And in the upcoming 100x DNA Masterclass, you're going to learn all about your personality traits. You're going to learn about your disc style, how you approach problems and challenges, how you influence people and contacts, how you deal with the pace and the consistency of the environment, how you deal with policy and constraints. That is all included in your personality. In addition, it's your driving forces. It's what motivates you intrinsically, which is part of your personality trait. Now, the second thing that impacts us between the stimulus and the response is the environment. Now, you have many different environments. You have your home environment. You have your work environment. For some of you, you'll have a very pleasing home environment. For others, you'll have a very toxic home environment. Some of you will really enjoy your working environment. Some of you will really hate your working environment. So whenever there's a stimulus, whenever there's a trigger, we'll then be impacted by our personality traits, our disc style, our driving force, our DNA, which we're going to learn about at 100x DNA Masterclass, and also the environment that we're in at any given time. Now, after the stimulus, the first response is an emotional response. And based on our level of emotional intelligence, these emotions will have a greater or lesser impact on us. Now, there's 4 major emotions that we're going to be talking about. There's 4 major fears that we're going to discuss at 100x DNA Masterclass. And all of those are going to impact you differently. For some of you, you'll be more impacted by the fear of somebody taking advantage of you. Others will be more impacted by the fear of rejection. Some of you will have a fear of losing your stability. Others will have a fear of trying and failing. And so these 4 fears will impact the way we think, feel, and act. Now, after the thinking comes the emotion. After the emotion comes the thinking. And so we start there with emotion, and then the thinking comes in. How you think determines the actions that you're going to take. And at 100x DNA Masterclass, we're going to change and show you how to change the way that you think. Your thoughts influence 95% of your feelings. And we're going to learn how to rewire your mind. And then finally, after thinking comes the action. So we have the stimulus, we have the emotion, we have the cognition, which is the way we think. And remember, 95% of your thoughts are on autopilot. 95% of what you think is automatic in nature. It's habitual. And then we have our actions. However, in certain times, we have a emotional hijack. And certain emotionally charged situations can activate within you a survival mode. And for many of you, you tell me, Daniel, I feel that I'm just in survival mode 24/7. And what happens is when we're in that survival mode, we act without thinking. We act before thinking. And that is the cause of the majority of the failures in our life. So at 100x DNA Masterclass, we're going to learn how to control your emotions. You're going to learn how to control your thoughts so that every time you take action, you get exactly what you want. So make sure you're filling in page 3 as we go. Remember, everything starts with a stimulus. It could be an external event or an internal thought. That stimulus is then impacted by our personality traits. You are going to learn about your disc style, your driving forces, and what you're made of, your DNA. This impact is also environmental, and it depends on how comfortable and confident you are in each of these environments. The stimulus triggers an emotion, the emotion triggers a thought, and the thoughts lead to our actions. However, if we have an emotional hijack, we end up acting before thinking, and that is the cause of all failure. So our goal at 100x DNA Masterclass is to help you upgrade your operating system, to rewire your mind and give you a totally new mindset so you can be, do, and have everything that you've ever wanted. Thank you for joining me in this training. In our upcoming training, we are going to learn more about the emotional competencies.